It's finally time for me to tell you this house story and our whole journey moving from Sydney to Noosa. But first, I'm gonna need a coffee because this is a long one. I mean, I'm used to making 90-second videos. So I really wanna sit down and give you all the details in case you're a first home buyer like us, because I have some lessons to share. Use this as a break, make yourself a coffee, cup of tea, or a margie, why not? I'm gonna go with a coffee because it's the middle of the afternoon. It is honestly a pretty crazy story. And I actually documented parts of the process because in the beginning, I just wanted to share our first home buyers experience. Then it just turned into like a whole other beast. Quick intro. My name is obviously Paige. I'm from Noosa originally. I lived in Sydney with my partner who is British. We wanted to buy our first home. We knew fairly early on that we wanted to live in Noosa. However, it's obviously very expensive. Spotted a property we could maybe buy. This one might be suited to us if you've got a spare, 20, 30 million. Let me know in the comments. One day, actually in 2022 now, we were randomly looking for houses and we were just doing what everybody does on a Saturday and just going to as many open homes. And we sort of by chance just stumbled across this house with an open sign outside, and the moment that we walked into the house, we both saw it and looked at each other and were like, oh my gosh. I could literally see my childhood best friend's home through the window, and I just remember being a kid and growing up in this exact area, and I never in a million years thought that we would be able to get into that area, but it had like just come a little bit over budget, but it was within the realm of possibility. So we didn't have the money at the time. Actually, we happened to be going back to London the next week. So one, we didn't have the money, and two, we didn't have the time. We weren't gonna even be in the country. We thought for sure the house would sell. So we went to London, we came back and we looked, and it was actually taken off the market. It didn't sell. So we kept looking, but we kept comparing everything to this house. So we were kind of like, maybe in the meantime, we can start to save and get all of our ducks in a row, get the mortgage pre-approval, and then we can like pop a letter in a letterbox and try and do like maybe a private sale. So we saved and saved and saved. And a year later, this is where like weird things start to happen. The day that our mortgage pre-approval came through and we were approved for the loan, the house went back up on the market. So I'm like, oh my gosh, that is the first sign. And also the next day, we were going to be flying to Noosa anyway to see my dad for his birthday. So there was like all these signs that added up, and I'm like, this house is meant to be for us. So anyway, we went to Noosa and we were like excited, but we were very nervous because this also means we can't do a private sale. It's going to go back on the market. All these other people are going to see how good it is and want to buy it, and we had a hard limit. We are just going for a calming national park walk before we go to the final inspection and put an offer on this house in Noosa. Fingers crossed. We obviously put in an offer. It was such a nerve-wracking time. In case you can't tell, I feel very sick. You know when you're so stressed that all you can do is just like stand in the shower and just let the water run over you and pray that after it finishes, you've just found the answer to all your problems. Yeah, I think that's what Steve's doing right now. Basically, the agents come back and said there are 2 other offers, so 3 offers, including ours. Our initial offer is too low, which is unfortunate because that's really all we can afford. So yeah, we're working out our repayments on a bigger offer because the fear is missing out on a property over 50 grand. That's kind of what it's coming down to. That's our gut feeling between us and the other offers. We obviously don't want to miss out and think back in 10 years time, oh my gosh, we missed out on this dream location, this dream property, giving our children the childhood that I had. It's like such a roller coaster. And then yeah, if it goes over that, we literally cannot offer a cent more, and that's our hard stop. But if it gets accepted, then we need to move our entire apartment interstate before Christmas. When the news actually came through that our offer had been accepted, honestly, it was just it was so exciting. It was such a relief. I'll put it in here. I literally just hopped out of the shower, so that's why it looks so beautiful. I've just gotten out of the shower and I've got a missed call. What? No, it didn't. I just got out of the shower. What? Oh my gosh, thank you so much. Oh my god, why do I keep getting emotional? After that, the stress had only just begun because you have to organise insurance, finance, building and pest. You have to make a choice. Solicitor, conveyancer, 5 million things that you've never done before because, hey, you're just a gal living in the world and now you're like trying to become a homeowner. Sorry, chocolate snack break. Lesson 1, we went with conveyancer, but we wish we went with a solicitor. Paid a little bit extra, get a solicitor, because if something goes wrong, they have the legal understanding to help you, because a conveyancer is great for a very straightforward deal, which you always hope it is. However, in this case, it was not. We told our landlord in Sydney and our apartment went like that. Of course it did in Coogee. Got snapped up and we were like, great. So we started packing all of our things into boxes. It was 3 or 4 days before we were set to move. Everything was fine. I cannot state enough, this was a move-in property. We were planning Christmas at our house and then we get a call.
What's the damage downstairs? So a pipe's burst, it's ruined, and it was running for a long time. Hang on, so we couldn't even move in. Like, it's not livable.
I just need to just take a minute. We get this call from the agent. She's like, you're sitting down. What you see in that video is just like pure shock and concern. What had happened was a gardener had gone round just to like do some little maintenance, make sure it was all perfect, ready for us to move in, and he noticed water coming out of this garage. And upon entering the house, there's water coming through the roofs. It's a mess. So I get on the phone to my dad, who is on Sunshine Coast, and I'm like, Dad, you need to go to this house and just check. This is all just a bad dream and that we'll be moving in to our dream home. And so he jumps in his ute, bless him, and goes over to the property. And then, you know, an hour later, he gives me a call and he's like, baby, I've got some like bad news. This is at least 6 months worth of damage, because what had happened was a pipe has burst, a toilet pipe has burst upstairs, and it's been running for days in this house and nobody's been there because it's during the settlement period where no one is living in the property. The water just rose and then it just went through the floors upstairs, down the ceilings, and basically he was like, you're going to need all new floors, all new walls, all new ceilings, bathroom, like your house is destroyed. And we were just like shocked. We were like, we don't have anywhere else to live. Like, this is we don't have a plan B. Like, this isn't meant to happen. Keep in mind, while our offer has been accepted, we don't technically own the house yet. The settlement date was the move-in date. We were settling and moving in on the same day. We were going to try and do it all. So we weren't technically the owners of this house. This is lesson number 2, insurance. For this, I had travel insurance. That is the extent of my knowledge about insurance, is getting travel insurance on my mobile phone while I'm at the airport going to Heathrow. Definitely never had home and contents insurance until now. So in Queensland, the law is the buyer has to insure the property. Now that is a different law to in New South Wales where we were living. So it was all a little bit confusing. Lucky Steve, my partner, who is smart, he is a really smart, switched on kind of bloke. He took out a very good insurance policy and he basically ticked a box that said, you must cover us for whatever the damage. Because if it was me, we randomly picked jobs out of a hat. I got building and pest, he got insurance. If it was me doing the insurance, I probably just would have gotten the cheapest policy. So luckily, Steve got a great insurance policy out. But even then, it was very grey because technically we didn't own the home yet. I know what you're thinking. The house is destroyed. The house that you viewed and fell in love with is destroyed. So why would you want to go through with the sale of this property? Like, just back out. If you can back out, if you can get your deposit back, which we could have, back out of the sale. We were in love. We were in love with the location. We wanted this house. There was a lot of back and forth. There was a lot of unknown. We went to our conveyancer for some advice during this really scary time for first home buyers, and they didn't know. They're like, this has never happened. We've never heard of this happening, especially in the settlement period. We're going to try and find some legal advice. So we were left hanging for a little bit. It was very confronting and scary. I was like, wish we'd gotten a solicitor. Hardest day of the whole process was the day that we moved out of our Sydney apartment, which we loved. We loved that apartment, and packing up everything, not knowing where our boxes and our belongings and everything would go. It was just like hard. It was just hard.
Oh my God, it is happening whether we like it or not. I need to drink all of this right now.
I know that there's people in so much harder situations. This is nothing, and especially now when I look back at it, I'm like, it actually wasn't, you know, the end of the world. When you're in that situation and you don't have anywhere to live, even if it's just for a day or two or whatever, it's just scary. Luckily, we moved some of our stuff in with my mum while we could just get a grasp of what was going to happen, whether we were going to proceed with the sale of this property or we were going to pull out. But then we were left with no apartment and no house, and we would have to start from square one. So anyway, we got to the Sunshine Coast, and I guess the first thing to do was just to go and see the damage of the property.
Can do a heck of a lot of damage. Look at all the paint coming off the walls and just all of this water damage. And then in here, the roof is just ceiling's completely fallen off. In terms of the floors, this is now what we're working with. The floors have been so badly raised up. It's obviously where some of the water has just come through, but oh my God.
There was no longer water dripping from the ceilings because that had started to dry out, but it was really emotional. The tricky thing about this is our insurance said they would cover the damages, but they wouldn't know the full extent of the damages until they pull apart the walls of the house. And to do that, we had to settle. We had to buy this house, even though it was just a complete wreck. There was a massive level of risk there for us because if they, you know, pulled apart the walls and they found another issue, then, you know, we may have to pay out of pocket for that if it's not related to the leak. So we were really scared, but we just were like, okay, we love this house. We took the plunge, we took a risk, and we settled on a house that was covered in black mold and yeah, can't be lived in, basically. After all of that craziness, silver linings started to appear. One of the things that our insurance company covers is living arrangements while the house is being fixed. So we just jumped onto that straight away, and we actually found a short-term property, which you would have seen on my Instagram, on the water, which was a freaking miracle coming into Christmas, for us to just move our stuff into, so that we had somewhere to live. So grateful for that. A few days time from now, they will start tearing down the inside of this house. We sort of begin a process that we never thought we were going to begin, and start a renovation basically, and hopefully we will be having Christmas in July at our home. So many points throughout this, Steve and I have just looked at each other and we thought, oh my gosh, I wish we were an insurance lawyer. I wish we were a property lawyer. I wish we were a builder, so we would know that everything was being covered and we weren't going to miss anything. And it's been a lot of Googling, a lot of stressing, and a lot of like just learning on the go, and we've kind of come out the other end. I mean, fingers crossed, they haven't pulled the walls down yet. We don't still know the extent of the damages. But lesson number 3, check your pipes. Check those damn pipes, because, you know, just talking to the insurance agency and stuff, this happens a lot actually. I mean, it doesn't happen a lot to first home buyers during a settlement process. That was very rare, but it happens a lot to people when they go on holidays and they don't turn their water off and pipes burst, whether that's, you know, washing machine pipes or toilet pipes or whatever, all the time apparently.
Oh my gosh, I just realized the whole time I was filming that, I was looking in the wrong spot. I wasn't even looking into the camera, even though I thought I was looking into the camera. Anyway, that's the full story. Thank you for watching this far. Please follow along. We'll continue to document the journey a lot better than I have done. Apologies again. This is I'm not used to these longer videos, but yes, there are main lessons. That's the wild ride we've been on, and hopefully it's only going to get better from here. All right, bye.